People are on the sea.
Will place economic stability and confidence.
The propagandists are corporate critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
The propagandists are corporate critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at these stories. First, Edo State. Women demand Oshomole's apology over childless comment. And then on to Imo State, APC conducts primaries for local government polls. And on APC, Ganduje's aide slams North Central Forum chairman. On Labour Party, Abure loyalists to boycott stakeholders meeting. And on fuel hike, we feel betrayed, Nigerian Labour Congress says. And on to 2027 general elections, Obi appoints Tanko Obedient Movement interim coordinator. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1; and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
as always said, there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
The propagandists are corporate critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
The propagandists are corporate critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
The propagandists are corporate critical beliefs of this minister and the
Give us access to our money.
As always said, there are two sets of people: the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
The content are top of critical needs of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in the town.
I've always said there are two.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Nze Nze Onze is a political analyst, and he also prides himself as voice of the people's advocate.
Advocate of the masses.
Advocate
of which you are inclusive.
Good morning, Nze, and welcome to Open Conversation. And on to the story. Women in Edo State, under the banner of Edo Women, have called on the former governor of the state, Senator Adams Oshomole, to issue a public apology to the family of Governor Godwin Obaseki for his insensitive comments about the governor's wife, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, regarding her childlessness. The women made this demand during a protest led by Honorable Maria Edeko, Deputy Speaker of the Edo House of Assembly, on Tuesday in Benin. Speaking on behalf of the women, Honorable Edeko urged Oshomole to apologize publicly to the women of Edo State and humanity in general. She said, "It is sad to see a person who has once governed the state condescend to this level. It is a taboo, a sacrilege, and desecration of Edo land to mock a woman or a couple for not bearing a child. Those who mock others for not having children yet could be described as one of the most ungrateful persons on earth. We rise as women of Edo, home and abroad, to denounce this shameful conduct of Adams Oshomole. We call on all women and couples that have gone through the pain of not bearing a child on time or not having a child at all to curse this man," she charged. The women eulogized Mrs. Obaseki, describing her as a woman who had demonstrated the power of brilliant compassion and foresight in her dealings in the state. The First Lady has ensured the inclusion and protection of children, women, and vulnerable persons in the state. She continues to say, "We thank our governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, for loving and respecting our mother." The women added that Mrs. Obaseki's comments during the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate's campaign did not warrant such a vile response from Oshomole. The First Lady said without a First Lady in the government house, women will be marginalized. "We as Edo women have not seen the wives of the other candidates," she said. Nze, interestingly, this has been going back and forth in Edo State since Mrs. Obaseki, the wife of Edo State governor, during a political rally last week, Thursday, was urging women to vote for the PDP candidate. And she premised that argument on the fact that, according to her, the PDP candidate was the only candidate with a wife. And then, in response, Obaseki also made the Edo people know that, during a press conference, made Edo people know that the candidate, the APC candidate, has children, one a medical doctor, the other one a lawyer, and one of them gave an address to the public during one of the father's political rally. And he went for that to say, why a woman who doesn't have a child? Why tell somebody that he doesn't have a wife? And in the first instance, that for people who are so loving, if they claim they are loving, they could not even adopt children, and all of that. And that has generated a lot of controversy and backlash on Oshomole. And now, in the wake of all this, Edo women are saying, come out and apologize publicly for the statement, the childless comments made against the governor and his wife. What is your take on this development?
It is a pity. It is a pity that the two personalities in Edo State could bring themselves, because of politics, to this low level. I cannot completely condemn Adams Oshomole from the surface without digging to the root of the matter. And if you look at it, you see that something triggered something. In as much as both of them were really very, very wrong in their statements, Obaseki had no reasons to accuse a man who could not control his marriage, which you don't know if the fault came from him or from the wife or from ancestral spirits, because such things do happen. You don't know.
You mean Mrs. Obaseki?
No, Mrs.
Obaseki.
Monday. Mrs. Monday. You know, Monday was accused of having children without
and not a wife.
A wife. Which you know that before they will come to the point of having children, there must be a mutual consent, either of marriage or just to partner together and raise children. Best known to them. That's why I put it that the fault could come from either the man himself or the wife, or from ancestral spirits who might have in one way or the other in order to carry out the causes they lay on people. But however, whatever, I respect Monday Pueblo, you know, as a man, even though he is not with a wife. You know, by his level, by his standard of life, he can afford even 10 wives. But he chose to stay without. That is his choice. And we have to respect his personal decision on that. So Obaseki does not have any right to go and abuse him on that. Then coming to Oshomole, condescending to the point of speaking guile, if I may call it taboo. Because at your level, you shouldn't allow politicking to shave your sense of reasoning. And I think if it were to be when people were really keeping to their cultural stand, Oshomole would have been banished for that statement.
How about Mrs. Obaseki?
No, I'm coming.
Are you, from what you're saying,
I'm trying to balance
one offense appeared to be lighter than the other?
No, one led to the other. I will come to it because look, one thing, if you want to judge a case between man and woman, blame the man first. If you really want to make peace. So, I mean, I'm a priest.
All right,
number one. Number two, I'm advocate of the masses. And I know what masses feel like. Now, Adams Oshomole ought to be banished for making such utterance.
Okay.
In fact, his statement is abuse to God, a direct abuse to God, because nobody can have children by his power. Yes, everybody feels light and fine during the process, but you don't have anything to contribute to making sure that conception occurs. And even when conception occurs, you don't have power to retain the fetus in the womb. And when the fetus are developed to a full whatever, you don't even have power to bring the child alive. So what right does he have to abuse this woman, a woman of this level, of which up till now I never knew, if not that Adams Oshomole came to tell me that Obaseki, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki is childless. And if you can look at it from this angle of this African viewpoint, I salute Obaseki, Governor Obaseki. I salute him, and he should be honored for this, keeping a childless woman even at his level of he has attained in life. Yet he kept the woman, running with the woman, governing Edo State with the woman, and the woman has proven beyond every reasonable doubt that with or without a child, a woman can still live. So she's a legacy to other women who are deprived of children early in life. They shouldn't kill themselves. It is not a do or die affair. It is not something you feel like if you don't get it, you die. You have seen that Mrs. Obaseki has lived her full life together with the husband in joy, in happiness, without a child. Yes, since it is God that gives children, and God has decided in his magnanimity to deny them children, they're okay with it. They still serve their God, they still live their normal life, they still govern Edo State. He has finished 8 years and will be bowing out in no time from now, and that is an honor. So we salute Obaseki, we salute the wife for her courage and doggedness, not even going to adopt. They say if this is God's will for us, it is okay for us. So people should learn that you don't have a child doesn't mean your own world has ended. Because you've seen women go extra mile just to make sure that, even to the point of letting another man bathe them naked, which is an insult to the husband.
Right.
So coming to the side of, I think Oshomole must have taken his correction from my rebuke. But coming to the other side, remember, it was the small hand that went and pulled the bigger hand that caused the slap.
Interesting.
Yes. It was the small hand that pulled, because if this woman had kept her mouth, forget this man and his family, do politics, do campaign, do not go personal. What do you gain by personal attacks on individuals. And this is bringing us to the level of politics we are playing in this country.
And in your opinion, what Mrs. Obaseki said, you know, what she has said, you know, poking the personal life of
the governorship candidate of APC.
Is that not a taboo as well?
Well, not a taboo in its full sense, because of the level of the height of offense. Now look at it from this angle, if I may, because you are trying to, like, you know, bring in the taboo aspect of, look at
from the way you have spoken,
yeah,
it is clear you condemned both actions.
Yeah,
granted. However, in your opinion, one has more weight, yeah, than the other. Now, the truth remains that people have different pain. One person's pain may be infertility. Another person's pain may be singlehood, not getting married. Because, like it or yes, there is stigmatization when certain persons, when they get to certain age, particularly in African society, in Nigeria as well, and the person is not married. If you have money and you're unmarried, it's a problem. You don't have money and you're married, it's a problem. God forbid you are an unmarried woman. It's a problem. Now, it's even worse when you marry and you divorce. The stigmatization on that one is on a very different level altogether. So, one might be dealing with childlessness, granted. Another might be dealing with not being successful in marriage. People feel pain differently. So when you poke one person for childlessness, and you say because the person is childless, the level of her pain is more, it is still the same tears that are shared at night by different persons because they feel it differently. Some persons might be single mothers, but their prayer day in, day out is that they have a father figure for their children. When you poke that single mother at that level, in that level, she will retaliate with your childlessness if she decides to stoop at your level. Hold on. And then people will now come out and say, oh, you have a child, it's just that you're a single mom. And this one, you're childless. You know, this one is, it doesn't make sense. Those who live in glass house
shouldn't throw stones.
Shouldn't throw stones. That's what it is. But it becomes a problem when issues like this happen. In the first instance, even according to INEC rules and regulation, campaign should be issue-based campaign. Yeah. But leading people on, and you don't have Mrs. Obaseki, with respect to her and her office, does not have anything concrete to tell the women of Edo State. She doesn't have any issue-based campaign that she can actually bring to the table to urge women to vote for her candidate. What she could do was to go below the belt, to accuse a man of not having a wife when you are not even privy to certain information that could have led to that position in her life. That's painful. Yeah. In the traditional setting, when men are unmarried at a certain age, whether you have money or not, you are insulted for it. To a large extent. Yeah. In fact, in the Igbo culture, the king's men of that man go as far as contributing or even marrying for that man and forcing the wife on him. That's the level of the pain men feel when they don't have a wife. So you see, this pain is different. But people are expecting, because Opeblo is a man, he should swallow it. No. And hold on, and then Oshomole, unfortunately, is not that kind of man or elder, and he has come out to remind Mrs. Obaseki of her own pain. She poked at somebody else's pain, and she's been poked back, and the world wants to stop. Edo women are saying, a PDP women in this instance, because they are led by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, which is PDP. Now they are saying Oshomole should apologize. And if I might quote exactly what the woman said, they even made an excuse for what she said. She said, hold on, because she said something to the fact that what the First Lady said was even true and there was nothing wrong with what she had said, how do you justify that action, and then in the same breath you're demanding for an apology? There was a catalyst to that.
Now let us look at it from this angle. Do you know why I said that one offense was bigger than one? I am neither for Baseki nor for Shomole. I am not standing with Edo women. I'm not standing with PD. That's a PD Edo women AP, nor Edo women APC. But look at it. One of the cases here is natural, by faith. It came on them by faith. One was by choice. That of Mondo Okpebolo was by choice. Because Mondo Okpebolo had lived with a woman, stayed with a woman, watched over, bred over pregnancy, had a child, nursed the child, and at a point, the relationship couldn't continue. Something happened, one thing led to the other, and the relation disconnected. Now, he had a choice of either calling his wife back or marrying another. Remember, he's not like a woman. His case is not the same as the case of a single mother. The case of a single mother is that she's praying every day, oh God, send me a father.
What makes you think that Okpebolo, on one hand, is not traumatized by his experience?
No, I cannot think.
You are a reverend.
Yes.
You are a reverend.
Yes.
I am sure you have counseled a lot of people who
That's
are going through
from.
troublesome marriages, and you will not take away the fact that men cry.
Men do cry.
Men go through pain.
Yes.
And guess what? The society always understands with the woman.
Yes.
And the woman can play the abuse card and it will work.
Yeah.
And in most cases, men are actually the ones being abused, but the society do not give them the leverage to cry out.
Let's not go there.
So no, you're going there.
I'm coming. There's something I want to pull out. Let's spare men of this trouble for now.
How do you spare men?
No, I'm coming.
Because a man right now is being insulted.
One, I have cancelled men who are up there. I've cancelled men who are down there, who still face this same challenge. You see that oftentimes men who are down there that are faced with the challenge of struggling with their relationships, you see that their problem is, one, grant me permission to seek another wife, when there's some churches and the denominations like, barricade men using the scriptures not to marry when their wife or their spouse is still alive. Now, you see in this case, they will be asking you, they go through the trauma because there is a restriction. But in some situations where there are no restrictions, once a man cannot put up with a woman, he goes for another. Now, it is his choice. Man leaves the game.
Men are different.
I'm coming now.
I know
that men are different.
There are men.
And I'm sure that Okpebolo is not that kind of man you are trying to
You cannot say that.
The reason is because I don't know him very personally.
That he's a public figure does not mean that people know about his personal life. Personal life is very different.
It's personal and
private. Okpebolo's personal life is not a public knowledge.
Yeah.
You would agree with me. And the fact that a man can actually marry when he wants, and he can marry as many as he wants, I mean, regardless of religion, men marry as many wives as they want.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it's allowed.
Yeah.
And some religions even allow it.
Yeah.
And even in the same religion where polygamy is even allowed, most men don't practice polygamy.
Yeah.
They are not foolish for doing that.
Based on choice. That's why I said
sometimes one wife is a handful.
Yeah.
Then, on the other hand, some men actually get so traumatized in the process or from their experiences that they choose to remain single. Not that they don't want to.
That's why I say choice.
The choice is not born from convenience.
The psychological aspect.
But that is what it is. It's not born out of convenience. And then you will not take away the fact that it could be a deep pain for him. So when someone pokes you where you are pained, the person should expect a response. Now, if someone goes to where you have a deep injury, and pokes you, or let me even give an instance. Probably you have a dislocation on your foot, your big toe, right? And someone deliberately, intentionally matches you with all the weight she carries on that big toe, and you know it's intentional. And the person expects you to be silent and applaud her, because that's what they do. Are saying. They are saying, if I may quote what they said that the women added that Mrs. Obaseki's comments during the People's Democratic Party governorship campaign did not warrant such vile response from Oshomole. Now they are justifying it and saying it does not warrant it. Someone deliberately, intentionally goes to a place where you have a deep wound, probably a wound that is touching the nerve or a bone, and the person does not expect you to push her away or push him away from continuously, grating on that wound.
That injury, that pain on you.
In the first instance, the person deliberately going to that area of wound is wicked, and you cannot take away that fact. So now the thing is, in your opinion, probably the person that matched the person had crutches, doesn't have one leg, has only one leg, and is working with crutches.
And he's using that one leg to find trouble.
And now, he's using that one leg to find trouble. So because he has one leg,
is powerful.
Because he has one leg, he should be applauded, and pity should be extended to someone who is crippled and is deliberately looking for. Make it make sense to me.
Now, one thing I picked from your analysis is that you said that the person who is standing single it could be a choice. It could be, which means we are not certain whether he chose to remain single or fate brought it.
Go with the analysis of the person who has dislocation on the leg and someone with.
You know why I don't want to press on that? Because I see the
because it doesn't exactly support your argument.
I see your narration here as being deeper than what we are looking at. Look at what.
Not.
No, we will come up.
It is the reality.
Permit me to come up with it. Now, look at it from this angle. Somebody with deep wound in his toe, and somebody with one leg, using that one leg to step intentionally on that is a different ball game here.
That's what played out.
Yeah, it looked like, but
that's
a different ball game.
That is what played out
because you are trying to justify the wound in the big toe of the APC governorship candidate.
I'm not justifying the wound.
You are saying
I am actually giving you a simple example.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to tell your part.
In your opinion, that's what happened because Mrs. Obaseki, Mrs. Obaseki has 1,001
other
campaign issue-based. Yes, and she chose.
Okay.
It makes sense to me.
Yes, she chose.
In the first instance,
she chose.
In the first instance,
it was by her will.
In the first instance, can we even look at how uneducated and pedestrian that statement is? Telling women to not vote a candidate because the candidate doesn't have a wife. I mean, in developed climes, we have seen politicians. Hold on.
Okay.
Politicians who didn't have wives and they did very well, as well as female politicians who didn't have husbands and they did so well. Why do we stigmatize people? Why do we stereotype people? And yet we want development to happen and we want things to move. The fact that a politician has nothing else to present to, well, I wouldn't say she's a politician in this instance because she's the first lady. She's the wife of a politician.
Yeah.
Probably that could lead to an uneducated statement. Because of all things to say, in a political rally, is that people should not vote for a candidate because the candidate doesn't have a wife.
Now,
when you now look at the issues bedeviling Nigerians now, the economic hardship, the crisis people are going on. I'm not making case for any political party, by the way. But I am looking at issue-based campaign, and when people who you expect to do better ridicule themselves, and they now play the pity card because this is emotional blackmail, and they now play the pity card that, oh, Shomole came to tell you are childless. Why in the first place will you tell people, or will you tell people to disqualify someone's effort because the person is doesn't have a wife according to you. How do you justify this action? But then, Nze, we are almost out of time for this. Yes, it's time to go to Imo State at this point.
Before we go to Imo State, let's put it this way, you know. The woman played a role of a woman. And also considering...
I'm a woman, I can never play that role.
I'm coming. Also considering her environment, she felt she needed to woo. She needed to woo
with
people
what exactly?
With the word that the man that is coming does not tolerate us.
Do you know?
The woman in this context.
Do you know that this statement you have made has completely reduced the intelligence of Edo women?
Yes, did we not condemn the action of the woman and the action of the man?
When you say that she's wooing the people with what she has, now that is what a woman would do. Nze, I take exception to that statement. Hold on. I am a woman, and there are things you can't catch me doing.
Based on your conviction.
Now, not based on my conviction.
That's just that.
Hold on.
Because you still see other women like you do it.
Hold on.
When you can't do it.
Hold on. That's why I just told you that. By your statement, you have simply reduced the intelligence of Edo women. Because how do I sit, hold on, with what is going on in Nigerian political and economic firmament? Be you a first lady or whatever position, you come to me and you tell me not to vote for somebody because the person does not have a wife.
Cannot cope with women.
Hold on. The person has a daughter whom he has trained.
And a woman. The daughter is a woman.
The daughter is a woman.
Good.
You understand? Now, and at no point has the daughter come out to say, I am not in good terms with my father, or my father abused me, or my father is maltreating me. Let's make that clear. But for me, as a person, to be seated, and you, a politician, you come to me and tell me not to vote for somebody because the person doesn't have a wife. That statement is an insult to my, it's an insult to my intelligence. And believe you me, the first lady will have it hot because my comeback will be from serious issue-based questions that she may not even have knowledge of, even though she's in the government. That's what I'm saying. When you say coming to woo women with that, how do you, by one statement, reduce the entire intelligence of an entire Edo women?
Not entire Edo women, but the women, the Edo women, Edo PDP women.
Oh, they are not intelligent.
Look at what they... No, I'm not the one saying. Already, I condemn the woman's action. I condemn Adams or Shomole's action. But look at what the Edo women said. That what the governor's wife said does not warrant. Which means their intelligence has been reduced already. I am not the one reducing their intelligence. Their intelligence...
And the hypocrites, which I...
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
Place economic stability and confidence. This act, I thought that we needed to leave of this minister and
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where
Imo State All Progressive Congress has finally begun the selection process of its candidates for the local government chairmanship and council elections coming up on September 21 across the 27 council areas and 305 wards in the state. In a press statement issued by the State Publicity Secretary of the party, Kajetan Duke, the APC informed that the exercise will mark a significant step towards its quest to consolidate on a hope agenda in the state's political landscape. The primary election, which is simultaneously going on across the wards and local government area in the state, is expected to be in a free, fair and transparent manner, ensuring a level playing field for all grants. The party assures all stakeholders of equal opportunities, adhering to the principles of democracy and internal party mechanisms, he stated. The publicity secretary pointed out that it is the expansion of the party leadership that the process will enable the emergence of the most capable and popular candidates that will fly the party's flag in the forthcoming local government elections, maintaining that APC is committed to upholding what he describes as the values of inclusivity, justice and fair play throughout the primary electioneering process. What do you have to say about this, Jose?
You know, I always say that it does not matter who carries the greatness. Anywhere I see greatness, I salute it, even if it is my enemy.
Okay.
So in this case, from what APC is presenting, they've done noble. One, going for the best candidate, because in elections like this, you should field your champion. And they are going through that. Number two, I commend APC for promising. The only thing I'm now saying is that they should do what they have promised. That the election will be free, fair, and credible. Let it be free, fair, and credible. Allow people, let there be a free playing ground, a level playing ground for every political party that want to participate in that election. Let people be allowed to campaign freely. Let there be no restrictions. Let there be no threats here and there. And when people are campaigning, let them campaign based on issues and not on personal attacks, or not taking it on personal attacks on the other, their opinions or that. And when it comes to the election, let the conduct, those that will conduct the umpire that will conduct the election, try to toe the lines of the promises of APC, that it will be free, fair, transparent, and credible. If these four measures are met, you discover that APC might not have it all over, because there could be a word where people have interest on a person, not the party. And the people who vote the person, irrespective of political party is coming, the political party may not be popular, but the person will be popular and they will vote him. So if you see it from that angle, no political party will come and brag that will sweep over the entire local government and 305 wards and all that. No. But let people be allowed to campaign freely. Tell people, tell the electorates what you have to offer them. Tell them your manifesto. Show them your manifesto. If they like it and they vote for you, fine and good. And I also want to say to the governor, say to the state electoral commission that will conduct the election, let them put up the fear of God in this, and let the Imolites choose their leaders at the local government and the ward levels.
All right. Interestingly, that brings to mind what is playing out in the Rivers State politics. Imo State is conducting the primaries. I mean, it's making the news, just as other states across the country. You can see what political parties are doing. You can see the internal wranglings going on in the political parties. You can see them, conducting primaries. It's in the news. But in Rivers State, it's deafening silence. We don't know what political parties are doing. We don't know who the candidates are. The window that RISEC has given for primaries has elapsed, and up until now, there are no news whatsoever.
That of Rivers State is a different ball game.
How so?
The reason is that Rivers State is like a theater of war. And it is courtesy one man. Because nobody would tell me that the activities of the former governor, His Excellency Barrister Ezenwoye Wike, is not affecting other political parties. You could just see what happened to APP recently, where their office was bombed. Now, and it was not long after the former governor of the state, the FCT minister, came up to say that they are aware that the governor and his people want to move to APP. You are aware. And the fingers are pointing at your group, even though police has not come to tell us. But
Can you clearly...
no, I may not go beyond this.
When you say fingers are pointing...
I will not go beyond this.
When you say fingers are pointing, what you're saying is entirely different from the question I asked.
I'm coming there now. I'm coming to your question.
Hold on. It's it possible for you to, when it comes to Rivers matters, to actually answer questions without somehow dragging the FCT minister inside?
We can do that. We can do that if he is not involved.
That's your modus operandi. The question.
My modus operandi.
Yes, that's your modus operandi.
As if you are trying to paint me a hater of Wike. I said that if he contests for presidency, I will vote for him. That was prior Obi's arrival.
Hold on.
You are trying to make me enemy of Wike. It will not work for you because I am not enemy to Wike.
What I am asking is clear. It's a very clear question. I said in the case of Imo State and other states,
political parties are gathering up, gathering
activities going on. We can see it.
The reason it's not happening in Rivers State is because there is war, and that war has put the governor.
Hold on. Hold on, please. The governor has come out to say that nothing will stop the local government. Yes, that nothing will stop the elections from happening. That it will happen. You agree with me? The governor said that. Now, and so far, when you say there is war, I mean, has there been killings so far since the outgone local government chairman saga happened? Rivers State, to a large extent, there has been a lull in Rivers State. There has been a lull in Rivers State. You could talk about the lawmakers having parallel sittings and all of that. It does not have any bearing with the activities of the RISIEC. We need to differentiate these issues. The question I asked is around RISIEC and political parties themselves. And I remember I told you that political parties, their windows have passed where they should hold their primaries. And up until now, we are not hearing
What
anything.
if they held their primaries in closed door?
They held their primaries, SDP, ADC.
Yes, what if they did so?
Hold on. I had an ADC spokesperson in my show a few days ago. Such statement was not made. And I've also had somebody very close to the corridors of power, and he clearly said that election is happening, and not primaries. And that's why I'm asking you, where is the law? Why the law? Probably you're not privy to what's going on, but then that would not be right to now say, oh, the FCT minister has issues with the governor, and that is the reason political parties are not having their primaries.
Can I tell you something?
It doesn't make sense.
There are things I will not. So I will intentionally boycott on air. But let me tell you the truth. I told you sometime that I chose not to be professional in my shows. Reason being that I speak for the masses, and you don't need the people to be professional when they analyze their issues in the marketplace. But I only make sure that I don't cross the line. Now, you see that in this case in Rivers State, every political party, apart from APC, a faction of APC, apart from a faction of APC, virtually every other political party is looking towards the governor. Yes, because the governor, to an extent, has stolen the mind of the people. So they are now, you even see some community people coming to say, Governor, please, give us a local government from this side. Give us a local government chairman from this side.
Governor, give us a local government chairman.
Give us, which I stand against.
So now,
because we cannot do that.
Selection
shouldn't happen. There must be election. And in fact, there should be election. And if election is not done...
If it's Rivers first, hold on. You said the governor has stolen the minds of Rivers, the hearts of the people.
And they are now telling him to give them the chairman.
Hold on, please. And according to you, and generally what the governor has said after his first 100 years, his first year in office, he said it's Rivers first. Now, if it's Rivers first, shouldn't it actually play out right now? When you're saying that people are coming to the governor to say, Governor, give us. Give us. How is it Rivers first?
That is a very wrong move people are making. That's why I'm telling you that it is
isn't
wrong.
Isn't that what is going on right now?
If it goes on court tomorrow, might need to put it straight.
No, if it goes on like this, wouldn't that bring the activities of the governor into further question?
Fine, sure.
Then would you now say that statement is not hypocritical? Because if it's Rivers first, hold on, if it's Rivers first, and Rivers people are not allowed
to choose,
to actually choose, but an imposition happens in whatever guise that it is done, how then?
It could be that the governor has good intention. It could be that the governor has good intention, but those around him, those advising him, might mislead him. And if he will take it from
people
us,
can people can advise you, but the decision, the burden of the decision lies on you.
That's why I'm saying that if the governor is watching us right here now, he will take it from us. That he should look at some of the things that is happening already, because tongues will wag.
All right.
People will react. And when it begins to happen, it will bring discredit to the governor. So let him to the steps of Imo State government. Allow people to do their thing. Allow people to choose their leaders. Let people choose their councillors and their local committee chairmen. The serving caretaker committee chairmen presently are doing well. Let them continue, so that if the people agrees with them, they will vote them to power. But if people don't agree with them, they will change them. Let people decide. This is democracy, for God's sake. Let people decide. Right. Don't impose anybody on anybody.
All right.
That is why you see us sometimes when we corner it around the war that is happening in the River State, you say nobody has died.
But
it is
then
at
the end of the day, from all indications, you're afraid what is going to happen in the coming polls is a selection.
If
an imposition of candidates, not the Rivers people exercising their franchise.
And I say nay to that.
All right, interesting. Of course, definitely, as it's barely a month to the local government polls in Rivers State. Definitely, you'll be on this show with me to analyze that polls. I hope you agree to that.
Yeah,
all right, problem. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And then on to fuel hike. Press statement released by the NLC president on the 3rd of September 2024. The statement goes thus. We are filled with a deep sense of betrayal as the federal government clandestinely increases the pump price of PMS. One of the reasons for accepting the 70,000 naira as national minimum wage, understanding that the pump price of PMS would not be increased, even as we knew that 70,000 naira was not sufficient. We recall vividly when Mr. President gave us the devil's alternatives to choose from, either 250,000 naira as minimum wage, subject to the rise of pump price between 1,500 and 2,000 naira, and 70,000 naira at old PMS rates. We opted for the latter because we could not bring ourselves to accept further punishment on Nigerians. But here we are, barely 1 month after, and with government yet to commence payment of the new national minimum wage, confronted by a reality we cannot explain. It is both traumatic and nightmarish. Yet, when we told the government that its approach to resolving the fuel subsidy contradictions was patently faulty and would not last, its front row cheerleaders sneered at us, saying we did not understand basic economics. But if truth be told, this act of betrayal is consistent with the character of this government. We recall the assurances we were given by the leadership of the National Assembly on the 250% tariff hike, that it had been dealt with and there was no need to openly engage the Minister of Power, who was at that meeting. Instead of the promised reversal, the rate has since been jacked up, further putting more Nigerians and businesses in jeopardy. The combined efforts of Nigeria's ferocious right-wing market policies brought Nigerians and Nigeria to their all-time low and led to the End Hunger, End Bad Governance protest. Rather than make amends, government arrested and hunted into detention some of those who took part and some of those who had nothing to do with this protest, charging them with criminal conspiracy, subversion, treasonable felony, terrorism financing, and cybercrime with an intent to overthrow the government of President Tinubu. The police and other security agencies have since been on rampage, terrorizing the citizenry in pursuance of government's agenda of Muslim lawful descent. In brazen pursuit, they have defamed and libeled not a few individuals. They have gone as far as appropriating the statutory roles of the Ministry of Labour and Employment in resolving trade dispute matters and issues considered outside the jurisdiction of the security agencies. That the government is on rampage in the face of stifling conditions of living is an understatement, but we promise Nigerians that we at the Nigeria Labour Congress will not be cowed into submission. Together with civil society, we brought about this democracy when some of the actors in power today were conspiring with the military on how to perpetuate their hold on political power. When the state and the security forces picked on us in a hybrid war, we had our suspicions. We knew they were up to something sinister and needed to distract and divert our attention or possibly frighten or weaken us before they came out with it, so we would not have a robust response. Now that the chickens have come to roost, we were right in our suspicions. However, we want to let Nigerians know that the clandestine and surreptitious increase in the pump price of PMS is the first among the equally sinister policies government has up its sleeve. On our part, we stand resolute with the people and will neither be distracted nor intimidated by the government or its security agencies. We insist that government cannot criminalize protest or basic human rights in the domain of the citizenry. Accordingly, we demand the immediate reversal of the latest increase in the pump of PMS across the country. Number 2, release of all those incarcerated or being prosecuted on the assumption of having participated in the recent protest. Number 3, halt the indiscriminate arrest and detention of citizens on trumped-up charges. Number 4, reversal of the 250% tariff hike in electricity. Number 5, stop the hijack of the duties of the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Number 6, end to policies that engender hunger and insecurity. Number 7, halt to government's culture of terror, fear, and lying. We are guided by our belief in our country and the need to secure and sustain its sovereignty, integrity, and welfare of the people. In the coming days, the appropriate organs of the Congress will be meeting to appropriate decisions which will be made public. Signed by Comrade Joe Ajeru, President. So what do you have to say to this statement?
My stand and the stand of my people, the masses, the downtrodden, the hungry and angry Nigerians, is that we are disappointed in NLC.
Okay.
NLC is feeling betrayed, but they are the ones that first betray the people.
All right.
Their brothers,
say that?
Their sisters, their cousins, their nephews, their parents, their poor parents in the village, they disappointed us. You recall that I was in this studio when we discussed about when Shore was coming up with his stand on this. I told you that NLC, the 250,000 NLC was demanding is nothing if the price of fuel is still high. Because if NLC should collect 250,000 as they proposed then, and the price of fuel is 1,000 naira, NLC members are the ones that will collect the 250,000. What will I collect? Who is not working in the civil service? What will that market woman collect? What will the Okada rider collect? What will the taxi driver collect? So why will you collect? Why will you negotiate based on what will come to you and not what will come to Nigerians?
Your grounds with NLC,
yes,
was they were focused only on their members and not the entirety of Nigerians.
Look at the irony of it is that Nigerians so much trusted this NLC. Nigerians are looking up to NLC, thinking that NLC of Joajero is the NLC of Adams Oshomole. Thinking that NLC of Joajero is anything we can hold. We didn't know that it is a stick eaten by ants. That's why you rely on it, it will cut, it will break. Now they are coming to tell us that they are betrayed. In fact, we are disappointed in them, and if it is possible, let them scrap NLC and let us start something new. Because if Nigeria must survive, Nigeria will stand by its 3 feet. If Nigeria must survive, look at it from this angle. Let us look at the points that the Joe was bringing. That they accepted 70,000 naira on the basis that the price of fuel pump price will come low. To what amount? You are eating with a short spoon. Are you not crazy? Are you not foolish? Now that your wrist is under grip, who do you think will come and save you? In fact, as a person, it is just that it is dealing directly to my people. If not, I would have said, let the fuel pump price go to 2,000 and let LLC collect their 70,000 and rejoice and go home with it.
Hold on. The NLC is saying that they had an option, they had two options, yes, to collect 70,000 naira at old PMS rates.
What is the old PMS?
What
is old rate?
As against 250,000 naira and risk PMS being sold at 1,500 to 2,000 naira per liter.
The question I want to ask is, what is the PMS old rate? 650? 750? There has not been consistency in the price of fuel pump price. This inception of Ahmed Tinubu, there has not been consistency.
Do you know prior to the inception, it was 591.
Where in Nigeria?
It was being sold. Hold on.
Before Tinubu came to power, fuel was sold for 200 naira per liter, which we were even angry at.
Fuel was sold 591. That was after his inception, and then independent marketers, you not take them away from the mix as well. Independent marketers, in fact, sourcing for PMS was deregulated, and independent marketers now source for themselves, and that's why they sell as they buy. That's why you see a particular filling station, well, a fuel station here will be selling for 700, the other fuel station will be selling at 800, while the other one will be selling at 750. But then if you want the fixed price of 591, you now go to NNPC station. That was what was going on, and that is what is playing out in Rivers State. Night, I bought fuel, a liter of fuel. I bought a liter of fuel for 1,300 naira. For 1,003, the 20 liters jerry can that I had to buy fuel for my generator. In fact, I had to fill it up because to even get a filling station that was open, after the announcement was made, practically all the filling stations closed down. And to get filling station, I had to run around till about, I got fuel around to 10 in the night. And I just had to fill up my jerry can. I regretted that I came out with one jerry can, but I had to fill up that jerry can, by the way.
It's like you're going into panic button already.
Because the truth remains that there is no guarantee that it will not get up to 1.5, and it will get up to 1.5.
Well, I'm not afraid as a person. It's just that my people.
So I now had to buy 20 liters of jerry can at approximately 30,000 naira.
Okay.
And as I was driving home, a lot of things was, in fact, as I was driving home, I was now checking the meter in my car. The 12 pump. I was thinking.
Hope you were still looking through the screen and not focusing on your dashboard.
And I was thinking, no, seriously, because I was thinking seriously, like, okay, how are we going to deal with this? Because the 20 liters of jerry can with the epileptic power supply will carry for 2 days or 3 days maximum.
Okay.
3 days maximum. I'm expecting. So what it means is for my generator to generate power supply for myself, I have to spend like approximately 70,000 naira a week.
Okay.
Now we are not
to run your gen.
We are not talking of the vehicle. The vehicle is another ball game altogether. When you calculate 60 liters, because to fill my car is 60 liters. 60 liters by 1,300.
Okay.
Do your maths. And definitely, even with the low quality of the PMS, it's as if it has ethanol. I don't know, but it just evaporates on its own. So usually when you buy fuel, there's a time you buy fuel, if you fill your tank, that fuel will carry you for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But now, you fill the same tank, and the fuel will carry you barely 1 week. What is going on?
Now, do you know that I personally refuse to complain? Do you know why? If the services I render, because by God's grace, I'm a priest, and I don't depend on the tithe and offering of the people. I ask God to help me to generate money. And by His grace, I render services, and I get money. But the question is that I get money to feed myself. What is happening to the person across the fence of my house? Now, if we are going by the way things are going, I will tell you that Nigeria is hitting brick wall. And we said it during the Obedient Movement campaign. We said that Nigeria is standing at Nigeria was standing at that time at the cliff. The cliff that any step forward, Nigeria will collapse. And look at it. They have taken the power. Look at where we are. It means that Nigerians are defeated, Nigerians are captured, and they are defeated. If we cannot do anything, everything will happen to us. It does not matter the policemen that they are using, the military men they are using. By God's grace, we were there before. The policemen, they're also suffering it. It's just that they have sworn an oath to respect the clothes they wear and yet say yes sir to the last command. But the truth is that they are not exempted from the punishment that this government is meting on us.
I just did a very quick calculation and I discovered that 60 liters of oil
is 76.
78,000
rather.
at the 1.3 that I bought.
Yes. At 1,300.
And interestingly, that's 60 liters. But when you actually go to fill your tank, you find out that what will fill it according to their meter will be like 67 liters.
67 to 80 liters to 70 liters.
So you will be wondering, even the meter itself has been tampered with. So Nigerians are being ripped off from all angles. Now, let's look at businesses that are dependent on PMS. Let's look at the e-hailing industry, for example, the special cabs people have to book online to go from one place to the other, heavily dependent on the PMS. Now you look at the keke riders,
the taxi,
you look at taxis,
the saloon operators.
Now, how about the people traveling, the interstate drivers? Cost of moving, you know, we are to a point where people will be unable at the end of every year to come back to see their loved ones. We are getting to that point because this has a boomerang effect. Let us even look at logistics, the cost of logistics of transporting foodstuff items from one place to the other. If right now, and if I may even tell you, the FCCPC that regulates the prices, you know, they were charged with the responsibility of regulating prices. As of this morning, they had to halt that regulation.
They have to.
Because you cannot regulate prices when the cost of PMS, the deciding factor, is unstable.
You see the challenge we are facing. I'm supposed to be in Enugu by tomorrow. And so the young man that will be going with me was busy making arrangement, washing the car. I said, we are not driving.
You take public transport.
He was like, I said, we know the drive. Now, what do you mean? We are not driving from here to Enugu. I'll be spending close to 150, 200,000 going and coming based on the fuel current price. If I should fill my tank, drive to Enugu, fill it again, come back, I should be spending close to 150 to 200,000. And what gain is that to me? I rather pay 50,000 if I don't want to go by flight. I'll pay the bus driver. And thank God, the governor of Abia State, the almighty OT, the sent governor, is already fixing the road. So we are no longer dodging through rivers to Imo State and all that. We are now following the normal Aba road. And within 3-4 hours, you are in Enugu. So, but look at it, you just pointed some things. How will the keke driver survive it? Somebody will buy fuel of 10,000 naira. That will give him about 8-point-something liters. Because the vehicle does not reduce its consumption. It keeps consuming, as you put. And how much will that person charge to Choba? Drive from Choba to my tray, from Choba to Rumola. How much will they make? Is it not telling on us again, the masses? Because for them to be on the road, they must increase their price. If they must be on the road, they must increase their price. And when this price, Now, if that woman who is frying akara is selling her akara ball for 50 naira, and now she goes to buy beans and pays 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira to carry few pieces of beans she bought home. How much if she still sell the akara for 150? I mean for 50 naira.
No, I don't think akara will be sold for 15 naira moving forward.
Yes, now it has to go to 200 to 500. And who is it telling on? You are sending your children to school, and one of them says, I don't want to take tea, I don't want to go with burger, I want to eat akara. And you now bring out 500 naira to give to a child to buy only akara. Whereas initially, 500 naira can buy snacks for 2 or 3. So you just see the government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu is inflicting on Nigerians.
And naturally, cooking gas will also increase, because the owners of these companies will now tell you that they have to also buy PMS to
drive their vehicle from the point where the truth is that, look, Nigerians are handicapped, but they can only be handicapped.
Is there a deliberate ploy to come to erode the middle class? Because as it stands, it appears that the middle class does not exist anymore. You know, what exactly? Because when you look at these things critically, okay, probably you belong to the middle class, because you say it will not affect you.
It won't affect me so much. It will affect me because it is affecting me.
You are in the middle class, right? Because if anybody can actually buy PMIs without actually groaning, really, you are in the middle class. So it's
in Nigeria today, we have two classes of people: the super rich and the super poor. Today, we have two classes of people: super rich and super poor. If you are not super rich, you are super middle class. That I'm buying fuel and I'm not groaning does not mean that money is not leaving my pocket. Because if I buy fuel at that price, I have to increase my charges.
Now, another
when
question,
I increase my business.
The question would be, I am looking at the irony of this whole development, because I mean, end bad governance and end hunger protests just ended, and one would expect policies by the government that are people friendly, policies and decisions by the government that are pro people. However, I mean, before September 1st, before the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest, we were buying fuel was still at 591, at least.
Yeah.
Before the protest. Now after the protest.
And the protest was just last month.
And now after the protest, say a month, exactly a month from September 1. I am buying fuel from, let's say, because I don't stand in the queue, the NNPC queue, I don't have that time. So let's say I buy from independent retailers, and I buy for 600 naira, 700 naira. And now I move from buying 700 naira after the protest, I'm now buying 1,300 naira as of yesterday.
100% increase.
Now, the question is, do we have a listening government? Is the government even understanding that these policies are affecting the people?
When you speak like this, you make me feel bad. You make me feel bad. Are you not understanding what I've been saying in this studio? The government of the people. We have a government of themselves. How can you ask if they are listening to? Did you even vote them? Bola Tinubu came up to say, you did not vote. I know you did not vote me. Better. Now, which means I said it here last year, that if this government, if APC forms government, Nigeria will hear me, and we are hearing it. Did I not say it? Look at this, is just like what happened in the Bible, where God said to Israelites, if you fail to worship me, you will worship the God of other people. Nigerians have failed to elect the normal person who came to say that he will reduce the suffering of the people and change Nigeria from consumption country to production country. And I think my joy is that both APC people, they are buying it. some of the guys that fought to defend APC, by now, I can buy my fuel and drive to wherever I want to drive. Square meal. They followed the governor in this state to turn the vote of the people, fighting people, flogging people who are coming out to vote other political parties. Now that it is happening, how far? The governor is a minister. Where are you? Who is your father? Who is... No job for them, no education, nothing. So you see that we have shown our high level of stupidity in this country. And if people will agree with me, may it not happen again. We may not ask God to kill the president. He's our president. We salute him for that. He's occupying the highest office in this country. But he will finish his 4-year terms. But let the next 4 year come. Both the judges, the lecturers, the professional, the professors, I call illiterates. Because every professor that participated in the last general election, that rigged the election, is an illiterate. Because you can't have a child, a student in school, because he committed malpractice, and you are committing electoral malpractice that will tell every other person. This one just committed sin against you, but you are committing sin. So you are an illiterate. Your professorship is nonsense to us. People should say the truth. Because they are the ones that plunged us into this. They went and defended. Look at the woman that conducted the election in Abia State. She was wooed. She was called to collect. She refused the money. And today, Abia's woman, the one that did in River State. How far, brother? Right. How far? Any moment from now, you people enter strike. And if people can see such people, let them woo them to their face. All right. Because they have caused us pain. And that pain, as much as it is biting on us, God is in heaven watching.
All right. I also want to ask very quickly, what is the way forward? Secondly, I also want to ask, do you see NLC embarking in another strike? Because they are set to once more. Can
we take them serious now?
When you, okay. The way you keep hitting on NLC.
Because they have failed over and over again.
You also recognize that there is a TUC. And TUC
is even worse.
TUC is not NLC. TUC is as independent as the NLC. And NLC is even making moves. NLC is pushing. The last time NLC fixed a protest, you saw TUC coming out to remove themselves from that protest. So because when you keep slashing this one that is even making moves, the question will be, how about
now person water seeing leg in the drum?
So now NLC should be silent and be like
no. See, if NLC, if TUC had come up to say a word, we'll pick them. We are now picking on NLC because they are the ones that is speaking now. But look at it. Why are they now crying? You remember I blamed. I said that hitting Imo State, nothing came out of it. He also came over and from the general protest and
he said he was not.
Yeah, he removed himself, and once he removed himself, NLC entirely is removed. Now, after the protest, I think Nigerians don't begin the wrong round to go and defend him.
That wouldn't be a fair comment to make. NLC did not.
They did not organize the protest. But are they not bearing the brunt now?
Hold on.
I think that the president has been accused.
Even when, with the extrajudicial killings and all that was going on, when it appears that, there was a extrajudicial killings going on, NLC released a communique.
Yes.
NLC spoke in favor of protest.
They have no choice.
No, don't say that.
They have no choice.
TUC has been silent. Heaven has fallen.
They can remain in their silence.
Nobody has silent.
If NLC remains silent, Nigeria will still keep moving forward.
TUC silent. Heavens have not fallen. So when people come for NLC with the way like you are coming for NLC, it will also be fair to understand that the responsibility of NLC does not cover the entirety of Nigerians. Let's even streamline what their responsibilities are. It is to their affiliates. It is to their affiliates. Whatever they are pushing for is for their affiliates. However, they are Nigerians, and yes, they can decide to come out and speak for the entirety of Nigerians. Even the organized private sector, they have their own, apart from NLC. Organized private sector that handles SMEs and all that. How many times, hold on, how many times, organized private sectors are independent.
They're independent.
They are independent. Yes. How many times have you seen organized private sector coming out to talk? In fact, when NLC fixed their prices, the organized private sector, they came out to say that they cannot be able to meet up with that price as well. Let's be real. I think it's fair to balance these things. It's fair to balance these things.
Yes.
So now, we're already out of time. So in your final statement, what is the way forward?
The way forward is Nigerians should take back their country. Nigerians, the masses.
How so, please? I hope you're not.
No,
you're not proposing a revolution on my show.
No. Who is talking about revolution?
So
I'm just hearing revolution from you.
What do you mean?
I said Nigerians should take back their country.
How?
Through their PVC.
Through their PVC?
Yes.
Okay.
Because any moment from now, the tenure of Bola Tinubu will end, and we will be called back to the poll.
Okay.
Let Nigerians cast their vote for the right man. Defend. Do not allow these liars called politicians to come and tell you blah blah blah. Go and follow them again. They give you 2,000. What can thank God? Completely useless in Nigeria because he can't even buy 2 liters.
And you're thanking God for that.
Yes. What will I? Since some people, those who voted Bola Tinubu to stop it.
All right.
Vote the right man. Congress election.
All right.
Back your country.
Thank you so much. We are out of time for this segment. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV One, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and